So welcome to the San Francisco 49ers Museum here at Levi Stadium. You get to see our Hall of Fame with larger than life-size busts of famous players, former owners, their actual faces. It's really fun. You get to see amazing things like the square of turf where the catch happened between Dwight Clark and Joe Montana. You get to see a football for every touchdown that Jerry Rice caught as a San Francisco 49er and the Super Bowl trophies and rings from all 5 championships. Lots to see, lots to learn. Welcome. Okay, so welcome to the BNY Mellon Club West. This is one of 2 BNY clubs in the field level that 49ers fans can visit pre-game, during the game, enjoy food, drink, and really just get into the spirit of football here at Levi Stadium. So my role at the San Francisco 49ers, my title is producer, and I work with the video group, the video team. So we are the in-house marketing agency for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm a San Francisco 49ers team employee. I'm a camera operator and video editor by trade. That's role 1. I have 3 jobs that I do here. My second job that I do is live event production. So I produce all the live events that we do, such as our weekly live show, 49ers Live, on all the social platforms. Tune in every Monday at noon after a 49ers game. I produce all the segments in that studio that we visited earlier. Those are all the kinds of things that I do, the TriCaster. And then on top of that, I also manage our archive, which is where we store and catalog all the video that's ever been shot. So that's another big role that I occupy here. So.
If there's one tip, it would be to continually just be a learner, right? Just be looking for ways to immerse yourself in all of these different experiences. AJ talked about it a little bit briefly, but there's ways where you're not getting paid and you're shadowing, but you're still learning. So sometimes it's getting your foot in the door, it's having those connections with people via LinkedIn, but it's also a matter of taking those opportunities and running with them.
Every job has its days, right? But I mean, it's hard to call what we do work. Everything puts in perspective. Like, we get to cover a football team for a living. There are good days and bad days, like any team or like any job. But what we get to do, we're very lucky. So I think the biggest point I would make when you are trying to build relationships with people is have interactions, and this goes for if you're trying to get an internship, if you are trying to get to know a professor, if you're trying to get to whatever, right? I mean, if you are trying to build a relationship with someone who might be able to help you, don't limit all of your communication and all of your interactions to needing something, right? Like when I see players, how are you? How are your kids? How's your family? How was this? How was that? What'd you do on your day off? Whatever, kind of chopping it up a little bit and building those relationships so it's not like every time it's like, oh, here you go, like here's Joe, like he's gonna ask for something, right? Like you don't want that to be the expectation is when you are building a relationship with someone that you think is gonna be valuable to you.
So, you said part of when hiring someone, you look for attire, the resume, and then the background. What do they know about the company? But why is attire so important in the decision making on should someone get the job?
So everything comes down to preparation. So if you're the kind of person that comes prepared for your interview, then that means that I can trust you to come prepared to work. And it has nothing to do with, oh, like you wore a tie and like wearing a tie is really important. What matters is that you cared so much about this job that you showed up as prepared as you could possibly be. Like this job was everything that you want. And that doesn't mean that like I have to believe like, hey, if this is an entry level role, it's an entry level role. We're not going to try to lie to each other about what something is. Like, hey, look, like if we're hiring a producer, we're hiring an executive producer, if we're hiring an intern, like we're hiring somebody for that role, but you also have to just make sure you do everything you can in your power to make sure they know that you were prepared and that you want to be here. Because if we can't trust you to show up for the interview, then how can we trust you to show up every day to work for us?
So I didn't get my degree in broadcast journalism, so I already felt like I was a step back from everybody else. So that's when, I'll use the term, I had to grind. I had to study what is it like to be a reporter, what is it like to be a journalist. I started picking up internships and I worked for free for years. Like when I say years, like years I worked for free, but that's because this is what I was passionate about. I built a reel. I began to just constantly find little gigs here and there, whatever I could show on tape, like, okay, this is what I want to do. I'm good at this. How can I get it out there in the right hands? From there, it just kind of built into another opportunity, I worked for a small station in Southern California. That's where I'm from. Worked there, continuously just put stuff on my reel. Eventually, I saw an opening for an internship with the Kansas City Chiefs on teamwork.com. I sent them my stuff, just like, all right, let's just throw it out there and see what happens. They ended up calling me about 2 months later. So that's where patience comes into play. You know, you want to hear something right away, but it took some time, but eventually I heard something. Being from LA, packing up and just the idea of moving to another state halfway across the country, that's just kind of like, all right, wait, slow down. But, you know, I was so passionate about what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to take this risk. So I moved LA to Kansas City. I did not get paid, like not a dime. So I spent money. I didn't make money. But it gave me the experience that I needed to move along in my career and eventually make it to where I am now.